Italy, a land where time flows through ancient stones and stories rise from every corner. From rolling hills brushed with vineyards to the timeless ruins of forgotten empires, this is a country where past and present breathe side by side. In the heart of southern Europe, shaped like a boot reaching into the Mediterranean Sea, Italy is more than a country. It is a living museum, a feast for the senses, and a journey through thousands of years of art, culture, and history. Once the center of the mighty Roman Empire, Italy's legacy stretches from the grand halls of emperors to the quiet streets of medieval villages. Its cities are home to masterpieces by Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and Raphael. But beyond the museums and cathedrals, you'll find a rhythm of life that is deeply human, where morning coffee is a ritual and every meal is a celebration of flavor and tradition. With over 50 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, Italy has more protected cultural treasures than any other nation on Earth. Its landscapes are as varied as its history, from the snow-capped Alps in the north to sun-kissed coastlines in the south, and the serene lakes and lush valleys in between. Venice, a city unlike any other, rising from the waters of a shallow lagoon in the Adriatic Sea. Built across more than 100 small islands, connected by bridges and separated by canals, Venice is a masterpiece of ingenuity and endurance. For centuries, this floating city has defied time and tide. Its foundations rest on wooden piles driven deep into the mud, holding up palaces, churches, and homes that seem to float upon the water. There are no roads here, only canals, and the gondola, once a noble symbol of Venetian pride, still glides silently beneath arched stone bridges. Venice was once one of the richest and most powerful cities in the world. During the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, it was the beating heart of a vast maritime republic. Trade flowed through its ports, bringing silk, spices, and stories from across the known world. That legacy is etched into every marble column and golden mosaic. At the heart of the city lies St. Mark's Square, where the Byzantine brilliance of St. Mark's Basilica stands beside the towering campanile and the elegant arches of the Doge's palace. Florence, the birthplace of the Renaissance, a city where human genius was awakened and where art and science walked hand in hand beneath Tuscan skies. Nestled in the heart of central Italy, along the gentle curves of the Arno River, Florence rose to greatness during a time when the world was emerging from the shadows of the Middle Ages. It became a beacon of light, of learning, of bold new ideas, and it still burns brightly today. Here, in narrow streets and sunlit squares, History whispers from every stone. The city was once home to some of the greatest minds the world has ever known: Dante, Galileo, Machiavelli, and Michelangelo. Their legacy is not just in books or memories, but in the very walls of the city itself. The Cathedral of Florence, with its red-tiled dome rising above the skyline, is a marvel of engineering and vision. Designed by Filippo Brunelleschi, it was a triumph of imagination over limitation. Beside it, Giotto's bell tower reaches upward, elegant and precise. In the Uffizi Gallery, the works of Botticelli, Leonardo and Raphael still breathe with life. Rome, the eternal city, a place where layers of time lie stacked beneath your feet and where the echoes of an empire still linger in the air. For more than 2,000 years, Rome has stood as a symbol of power, faith, and civilization. From the rise of ancient kings to the might of the Roman Empire, from the dawn of Christianity to the heartbeat of modern Italy, few cities have shaped the world like this one. In the center of the city stands the Colosseum, its weathered stone still towering with pride. Once filled with the roar of crowds and the clash of gladiators, it is now a quiet monument to an age of glory and spectacle. Nearby, the Roman Forum tells stories of senators and citizens' triumphs and betrayals beneath broken columns and open sky. Not far away, the Pantheon rises with perfect symmetry. Its dome, untouched by time, opens to the heavens. A marvel of ancient engineering, still holding the silence of centuries. But Rome is not just a city of ruins, it is also the heart of the Catholic faith. Within the walls of Vatican City, St. Peter's Basilica rises with sacred beauty. Cinque Terre, 5 lands strung like jewels along the rugged coastline of the Italian Riviera. Here, between sea and sky, the land rises steep and wild, and human hands have carved beauty into every cliff. Perched along the Ligurian coast, these 5 ancient villages, Monterosso, Vernazza, Cornelia, Manarola and Riomaggiore, are bound together by winding paths, stone terraces, and a shared history of resilience. For centuries, fishermen and farmers have shaped this terrain, building dry stone walls that hold vineyards above the sea. The colors of Cinque Terre are unforgettable. Brightly painted houses cling to the cliffs, splashed in shades of coral, lemon, and sea blue. Narrow alleyways lead down to small harbors where fishing boats bob gently on clear water. Every view is a painting come to life. There are no grand palaces or wide boulevards here. Instead, life unfolds slowly. Laundry flutters between balconies. The scent of basil drifts from open windows. And in every village you can hear the hum of conversation, the rhythm of waves, the music of a place deeply rooted in tradition. The Amalfi Coast, a ribbon of coastline where mountains plunge into the sea, and every turn reveals another postcard come to life. Located in southern Italy, this stretch of paradise is carved into cliffs that rise boldly above the shimmering blue of the Mediterranean. For centuries, travelers have been drawn here by the sheer beauty of the land, where pastel-colored villages spill down steep slopes and lemon groves cling to impossible heights. The air is sweet with the scent of citrus and sea breeze. The light seems softer, golden, timeless. The town of Amalfi, once a powerful maritime republic, still carries the spirit of the sea. Its narrow lanes twist between old stone buildings, leading to the grand cathedral that towers over the main square. Nearby, the towns of Positano and Ravello offer their own charms, one cascading in layers of color down to the beach, the other perched high above, serene and elegant. Here, the land and sea are in constant conversation. Roads curve along cliffs with breathtaking views. Boats drift along the coast, revealing hidden coves and quiet beaches. Terraces built by hand over generations now overflow with flowers, fruit, and the warmth of southern sun. Lake Como, a place where elegance meets nature and still waters reflect the timeless grace of the Italian north. Surrounded by the foothills of the Alps, this Y-shaped lake has drawn poets, artists, and dreamers for centuries. Its shores are lined with charming villages and opulent villas, nestled between steep forested slopes and the deep blue surface of the water. The rhythm here is quiet, gentle, where mornings begin with mist rising from the lake and evenings end with golden light dancing across the hills. In the town of Bellagio, cobbled streets climb gently toward flower-filled terraces. Across the water, Verona and Menaggio sit peacefully, their stone facades warmed by the sun. These are places where time seems to soften, and every view feels like a memory waiting to be made. Lake Como's beauty has long inspired awe. Ancient Roman writers praised its harmony. In later centuries, aristocrats built summer homes here, with manicured gardens that spill down to the water's edge. Some villas, like Villa Carlotta and Villa del Balbienello, still welcome visitors today, each with a story etched into its walls and its view. Tuscany, a landscape painted in soft light and timeless hues. Rolling hills stretch toward the horizon, brushed with olive trees, golden wheat, and long rows of vineyards. This is the heart of Italy, rustic, radiant, and rooted in centuries of tradition. Tuscany is a place where beauty is not rare, but constant. Winding roads lead through fields that change with the seasons. Cypress trees stand like sentinels along the hilltops. Farmhouses made of warm stone rest quietly under the sun, as they have for generations. Here, life moves with purpose but never in haste. It follows the rhythm of nature, the harvest, the weather, the passing of time. In the early morning, the valleys are covered in mist, soft and silent. By midday, the sun lights up every field, every wall, every leaf. Beyond the land, Tuscany is also a keeper of culture. In cities like Siena, Arezzo, and Lucca, history lives in narrow lanes and ancient plazas. In Florence, the Renaissance was born, but across the countryside, the spirit of creativity and craftsmanship still flourishes. Capri, an island of cliffs and dreams, floating in the deep blue waters of the Tyrrhenian Sea. Just off the coast of southern Italy, this rocky paradise has captured hearts for over 2,000 years, from Roman emperors to modern travelers, seeking beauty beyond the ordinary. The moment you arrive, the air feels different, filled with the scent of sea salt, blooming bougainvillea, and lemon trees heavy with fruit. The island rises sharply from the sea, its whitewashed villas perched on dramatic slopes, its pathways winding through gardens, grottos, and sun-drenched terraces. Capri is a place shaped by both nature and legend. The Blue Grotto, a sea cave glowing with an otherworldly light, has drawn wonder since ancient times. To enter is to step into a world of silence and reflection, where the water glows as if lit from within. High above the coastline, the town of Capri sits in quiet contrast. Here, life is slower, gentler. Narrow lanes lined with stone walls lead to sweeping views, old churches, and quiet cafes. In the main town of Capri, elegant boutiques and shaded piazzas echo with laughter, conversation, and the clinking of glasses. Siena, a city where time holds its breath, and the Middle Ages live on in brick and stone. Nestled in the hills of Tuscany, Siena rises with grace, its towers and rooftops glowing in warm earth tones, as if the land itself shaped the city by hand. Stepping into Siena feels like entering another era. Narrow, winding streets curve through ancient walls. Gothic arches cast long shadows. And at the center of it all lies the Piazza del Campo, a grand fan-shaped square that remains the soul of the city. It is here that life unfolds, where voices echo and history gathers with every footstep. The square is also home to one of Siena's most beloved traditions, the Palio. Not just a horse race, but a ritual of pride and passion, where each neighborhood or contrada competes with fierce loyalty and centuries of heritage. In this city, identity is not just local, it is personal, carried in the songs, colors, and stories of each winding alley. Rising above the rooftops, the Siena Cathedral stands like a crown of marble. Its black and white stripes shimmer in the sun, and inside the walls and floors come alive with sculpture, mosaic, and faith. San Gimignano, a medieval hill town frozen in time, standing proudly above the Tuscan countryside. Known as the town of fine towers, it rises from the landscape like a vision from an ancient tale, a skyline of stone built by ambition and legacy. Surrounded by rolling vineyards and golden fields, San Gimignano still carries the spirit of the 13th century. Its walls, built to guard its people, now embrace a peaceful village where the past has never faded. Once a wealthy stop along the Via Francigena, the great pilgrimage route from France to Rome, San Gimignano prospered through trade, especially in saffron and wine. Families competed not only in business, but in stature, quite literally. They built towers, tall and proud, as symbols of power. Of the 70 that once pierced the sky, 14 still stand, casting long shadows across the rooftops and squares. Walking through the stone-paved streets, there is a sense of timelessness. Arched doorways, weathered wells, and hidden courtyards speak softly of centuries gone by. Verona, a city of whispers and wonders where ancient stones hold stories of love, of empire, and of time itself. Resting between the foothills of the Alps and the banks of the Adige River, Verona is both grand and intimate, a place where romance and history meet in every corner. This city has known greatness since Roman times. The Arena dei Verona, older than 1,000 years, still stands with strength and grace. Once filled with the roar of gladiators, today it echoes with the music of opera, under open skies and candle-lit stars. But Verona is perhaps best known for a love story, one of fiction, yet rooted in the soul of the city. The tale of Romeo and Juliet, two young hearts caught in a world they could not change. In a quiet courtyard on Via Capello, a small balcony draws visitors from across the world. They come not only for the story but for the feeling that love, even tragic, still has power. Beyond the legends, Verona is a city of harmony. Elegant bridges cross the river with quiet strength. Frescoed buildings rise above shaded streets. Lake Garda, a meeting of mountain and water, of calm and majesty. It is the largest lake in Italy, yet what draws people here is not its size, but its stillness, a quiet vastness that reflects both sky and soul. Cradled between the Alps and the rolling plains of northern Italy, Lake Garda stretches like a mirror framed by stone, olive trees, and cypress. Its shores touch three regions: Lombardy, Trentino Alto Adige, and Veneto, each bringing a different flavor, a different rhythm to this shared body of water. The northern edge is wild and dramatic. Cliffs rise steeply from the lake, kissed by wind and dotted with villages that seem to cling to the rock. In the south, the land softens, olive groves, vineyards, and gentle hills open toward the horizon, warm and welcoming. In towns like Sirmione, old castles stand guard above thermal springs, and Roman ruins sit quietly by the water's edge. In Limone, lemon groves grow in terraced rows, touched by a climate made mild by the lake itself. In Malsacene, a cable car glides from the shore to the peaks of Monte Baldo, offering views that stretch beyond belief. The Dolomites, a cathedral of stone, carved by time and crowned with light. Rising from the northern reaches of Italy, these mountains are not just peaks, they are monuments to the Earth's ancient memory. Their shapes are sharp, bold, unforgettable. Pale limestone towers pierce the sky, glowing pink and gold at sunrise and sunset, a phenomenon known as alpenglow. In these quiet moments, the mountains seem almost weightless, as if floating between worlds. This region, part of the Southern Alps, holds more than natural beauty. It is a place of deep heritage, where Italian, German, and Latin cultures blend gently across valleys and villages. Each small town carries its own voice, its own traditions, yet all are tied together by the rhythm of the land. In summer, the green meadows bloom with wild flowers. Trails wind through pine forests, past crystal-clear lakes, and up to ridgelines that open into vast silence. Cowbells ring in the distance. The air is fresh and cool. It is a place made for walking, not rushing, for seeing, not just looking. Matera, a city carved from stone, shaped by hand and lit by history. Set deep in the rugged hills of southern Italy, Matera is one of the oldest continually inhabited places in the world, a place where time is not counted, but felt. Its heart is the Sassi, a maze of cave dwellings, churches, and homes etched into limestone cliffs. For thousands of years, people have lived here, not above the earth, but within it. Walls and ceilings formed by rock. Doors opening to the sky. Streets that are rooftops for the homes below. Matera carries the weight of centuries. Here, ancient life and modern spirit exist side by side. Once a symbol of poverty and hardship, the city has risen again, not by hiding its past, but by honoring it. Today, the same stone rooms where families once lit fires and raised children are now studios, restaurants, and quiet places of reflection. When the sun sets, Matera glows. Golden light spills across the cave walls. Lanterns flicker in narrow passageways. From a distance, the city looks like a nativity scene, timeless, peaceful, sacred. Alberobello, a village unlike any other, where the rooftops twist into ancient stone spirals and the landscape hums with quiet charm. Set in the heart of Puglia, in southern Italy, Alberobello is a place where imagination meets tradition and history lives in whitewashed walls. What makes this town truly unique are the trolli, small circular homes built from limestone with thick walls and conical roofs stacked like stone beehives. No cement holds them together. Just careful hands, balance, and time. The origins of the trolli reach back to the 15th century, shaped by local needs and clever survival. Built without mortar, they could be dismantled quickly to avoid property taxes under ancient law. But what began as necessity became an art, and over centuries these homes became the soul of Alberobello. Wandering through the Rione Montiano Piccola districts, the world feels almost storybook. Narrow lanes curve gently through rows of trolli, each one slightly different, some with painted symbols on their roofs, others with flower pots by their doors, all standing like quiet guardians of a simpler time. Inside, the air is cool, the walls are thick, the light soft. Naples, a city of passion and paradox, bold, ancient, chaotic, and alive. It pulses with the rhythm of life itself. Set between the curve of the bay and the shadow of Mount Vesuvius, Naples does not whisper its story, it sings it, loudly and without apology. This is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in Europe, with roots stretching back over 3,000 years. Every street is layered with history, Greek, Roman, medieval, Baroque, woven tightly into the present. It is a place where the sacred and the everyday live side by side. The streets of Naples are narrow and buzzing. Vespers weave between old buildings. Balconies overflow with plants, with laundry, with voices. Life is lived out loud, in the open, in the sunlight, in the shadows. Beneath the surface, another world lies hidden, an underground city carved into volcanic rock, with tunnels, catacombs, and ancient aqueducts that once fed the entire population. Above ground, grand churches and crumbling palaces stand just steps apart, both touched by time. Pompeii, a city frozen in ash, yet alive in memory. Nestled in the shadow of Mount Vesuvius, Pompeii once thrived as a vibrant Roman town, until the earth changed everything in a single day. In the year 79 after the birth of Christ, the volcano erupted without mercy. Fire and ash rained down, streets vanished, voices fell silent. And for nearly 17 centuries, Pompeii lay hidden beneath the earth, untouched, unseen, until it was uncovered, like a message from the past. What remains today is more than ruins. It is a world paused in motion. Cobblestone roads where carts once rolled, homes still standing with frescoes on the walls and mosaics on the floors. Public baths, bakeries, temples, and theaters, all caught in a moment that never ended. Walking through Pompeii is not like visiting a museum. It is like stepping into time itself. You see the outlines of daily life, a loaf of bread left in an oven, a mural of a feast, the quiet beauty of a garden once tended with care. You feel not just the past, but the people. There is sorrow here, yes, but also a strange peace. Mount Vesuvius, a giant that sleeps, yet never forgets how to awaken. Towering above the Bay of Naples, this volcano is both feared and revered, a natural force etched into the history, the memory, and the identity of southern Italy. Vesuvius is more than a mountain. It is a symbol of creation and destruction, of beauty and danger held in one form. Its slopes are quiet now, covered with wild flowers and black rock, but beneath its surface, fire still lives. The eruption of the year 79 after the birth of Christ remains one of the most devastating natural events in human history. It buried entire cities, Pompeii, Herculaneum, and others, under ash and stone. It sealed away lives, preserving them not with care, but with chaos. Yet from that destruction came knowledge. Vesuvius gave the world a gift no one expected, a window into the ancient Roman world almost untouched by time. Today the volcano appears calm. Visitors walk its trails, rising past layers of hardened lava and volcanic ash. At the summit, the air is thin, the wind sharp, and the view stretches endlessly across the sea and land. Vatican City, the smallest country in the world, yet one of the most powerful symbols of faith, art, and human spirit. Enclosed within the heart of Rome, This city-state is sacred ground for millions and a living museum of unmatched beauty and depth. Covering just over 100 acres, Vatican City is home to the spiritual leadership of the Roman Catholic Church. But beyond religion, it is a sanctuary of heritage, where the echoes of centuries still ring through marble halls and painted ceilings. At its center stands St. Peter's Basilica, one of the holiest and most awe-inspiring places on earth. Its dome rises high above the city, designed by Michelangelo, shaped by generations of visionaries. Inside, sunlight streams through vast windows, casting quiet light over polished stone and golden altars. Beneath the basilica lies the tomb of St. Peter, the fisherman turned apostle who became the foundation of the church. Pilgrims come from every corner of the world to kneel, to reflect, and to feel the weight of something greater than themselves. Just steps away, the Vatican museums hold a treasury of human achievement. Assisi, a hilltop town in the heart of Umbria, where stone walls hold centuries of stillness, and every step seems to echo with purpose. Known around the world as the birthplace of St. Francis, Assisi is a place where faith and simplicity meet the beauty of the earth. The town rises gently from olive-covered hills, wrapped in a soft light that seems to linger longer here. Its narrow streets wind past arches and courtyards, opening quietly onto views of valleys below. The air is calm, touched by bells, birdsong, and the faint rustle of cypress trees. At the center of Assisi stands the Basilica of St. Francis, a sacred space divided between two worlds. The lower basilica, dark and solemn, draws the eyes downward, where frescoes tell stories in quiet shadow. The upper basilica, bright and soaring, lifts the spirit with vivid colors and open space. Together, they reflect the life of the saint, humble, radiant, and deeply human. St. Francis lived not with power, but with purpose. He gave up wealth to walk barefoot with the poor, to speak to the birds, to call the sun and moon his family. This ancient town has stood for more than 3,000 years. First settled by the Etruscans, it later became a stronghold of the Romans, then a refuge for popes. Layer upon layer of history lies beneath its streets, and beneath those a hidden city of tunnels, wells and caves, carved directly into the soft tufa rock. Orvieto, a city suspended in time, perched high on a plateau of volcanic stone, looking out across the golden fields of Umbria. From a distance it rises like a vision, silent, still, and utterly striking. A fortress in the sky, shaped by both nature and human hands. Above ground, Orvieto is graceful and proud. Its centerpiece, the cathedral, stands like a crown, a masterpiece of Gothic architecture, striped with black and white stone, glowing with golden mosaics. Its facade tells stories from the Bible in sculpture and color. Inside, silence speaks. Frescoes by Luca Signorelli line the walls, bold and otherworldly, visions of the Last Judgment, painted with fire and reverence. The streets of Orvieto curve gently through medieval stone buildings. Every turn opens onto something unexpected: a quiet piazza, a worn doorway, a sudden glimpse of open countryside. Bologna, a city of deep color, deep history, and even deeper flavor. Known for its red rooftops, its medieval towers, and its unforgettable cuisine, Bologna is a place where intellect and appetite meet, where tradition is not preserved, but lived. Often called La Dotta, La Grassa, e La Rossa, the learned, the fat, and the red, Bologna wears each of these names with pride. La Dotta, for the University of Bologna, the oldest in the Western world, founded in the year 1188. Its halls once welcomed scholars like Dante, Petrarch, and Copernicus. Learning here is not just in books, but in the rhythm of the city itself. La Grassa for its rich, generous food. This is the birthplace of some of Italy's most beloved dishes. Fresh tagliatelle, tangled in slow-cooked ragu, tortellini filled with meat and cheese, swimming in golden broth. And mortadella, sliced thin, delicate, and deeply flavorful. In Bologna, meals are not rushed. They are shared, savored, and remembered. And La Rosa, for the warm red hue of its buildings, its bricks, its soul. Milan, a city where the future walks beside the past. Known for fashion, finance, and design, Milan is sleek and bold, yet underneath its polished surface lies a story shaped by centuries of resilience, creativity, and quiet elegance. This is not a city of soft edges. It moves with purpose. Its streets hum with energy. Its architecture speaks in contrasts. Glass towers rise beside Gothic cathedrals. Old trams roll past modern storefronts. Here, tradition is not left behind. It is reimagined. At the heart of Milan stands the Duomo, a cathedral of white marble, delicate and immense. With over 100 spires and thousands of statues, it took nearly 6 centuries to complete. Climbing to its rooftop, the city unfolds below, a patchwork of stone, steel, and spirit. Nearby, the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II curves beneath glass and iron. More than a shopping arcade, it is a palace of commerce and culture where luxury meets legacy. And beyond it, the Teatro alla Scala, one of the world's most famous opera houses, where voices have risen for over 200 years. Turin, a city of quiet power and understated grace, nestled beneath the Alps in Italy's northwest. Turin is often overlooked, yet it has shaped the nation in profound and lasting ways. This is where Italy's modern story began, the first capital of a united Italy. The birthplace of industry, of revolution, of vision. And yet Turin does not demand attention, it offers it with calm confidence. The city unfolds along wide boulevards, beneath covered arcades, and across grand piazzas lined with neoclassical facades. Its architecture speaks of royalty and order, a legacy of the House of Savoy, whose influence helped unify an entire country. The elegance here is deliberate. Nothing is rushed. Above it all, the Mole Antonelliana rises, a towering, curious landmark once intended as a synagogue, now home to the National Cinema Museum. From its top, the view stretches across rooftops to the distant snow-capped peaks. A reminder that Turin, though urban and intellectual, is forever tied to nature. Turin is a city of knowledge, of cafes and conversations. Portofino, a quiet jewel set on the Ligurian coast, where the land curves gently into the sea and time seems to drift with the tide. Once a humble fishing village, today it is one of the most elegant and intimate corners of Italy, a place where nature and refinement live side by side. The harbour is small, almost hidden. Boats rock softly in the clear blue water, their reflections dancing beneath pastel-coloured houses. The buildings, painted in warm tones of rose, gold and cream, rise like brushstrokes against the green hills above. Portofino is not large, its beauty lies in its simplicity. Cobbled paths lead past boutiques, cafes and quiet gardens. There is no rush here, only rhythm, the sound of waves, the creak of wooden boats, the hush of footsteps on stone. Above the town, the Church of St. George watches from the cliffs, modest and peaceful. And nearby, Castello Brown offers sweeping views of the coastline, where pine trees cling to the rocks and the sea stretches endlessly into the horizon. This is a place for stillness, for slow mornings and golden evenings. Ischia, an island shaped by fire, softened by time, and embraced by the sea. Set in the Tyrrhenian waters just off the coast of Naples, Ischia is less known than its glamorous neighbor Capri, yet it holds a magic all its own, wild, healing, and quietly radiant. Formed by ancient volcanic forces, The island rises from the sea with rugged cliffs, fertile valleys, and steaming springs. Its landscapes shift with every turn, from sun-drenched beaches to deep forests, from crumbling watchtowers to peaceful fishing harbors. Thermal waters have flowed here for thousands of years, rich in minerals and warmth. Roman emperors once came to bathe, to rest, to heal. Today, those same waters bubble up in hidden coves and quiet gardens, in open-air pools and natural grottos. The earth here still breathes. Above it all stands Castello Aragonese, a fortress on its own rocky islet, connected to the mainland by a narrow causeway. Built over 2,000 years ago, it has seen centuries of siege, silence, and sunlight. From its high walls, the island stretches outward, green, golden, and alive. Stromboli, an island born of fire, standing alone in the deep blue of the Tyrrhenian Sea. Remote, raw, and constantly alive, Stromboli is one of the few places on Earth where you can witness a volcano in near constant eruption, a mountain that breathes fire into the sky. Part of the Aeolian archipelago, Stromboli rises steep and dark from the sea, its slopes covered in black lava rock, wild vegetation, and tiny whitewashed houses. There are no cars, no noise, no rush, only the sound of waves, wind, and the occasional distant thunder from the volcano itself. Locals call it Iju, simply him, as if the volcano were a person. A presence, a power to be respected. And indeed, Stromboli has erupted for over 2,000 years, its glowing bursts lighting up the night in regular pulses, known as the lighthouse of the Mediterranean. In the village of Stromboli, life is quiet and close to nature. Narrow footpaths wind between simple homes and bougainvillea-covered walls. Time moves slowly, shaped by the rhythms of the sea and the sky. Elba Island, a quiet gem in the Tyrrhenian Sea, where green hills meet turquoise waters, and history rests gently among beaches and forests. Just off the coast of Tuscany, Elba is the largest island in the Tuscan archipelago, known not only for its natural beauty, but for the story of a fallen emperor who once walked its shores. This is where Napoleon Bonaparte was exiled in the year 1814. For 10 short months he ruled this island, reshaping its roads, economy, and defenses. His presence is still felt in stone villas, quiet gardens, and the memory of a man who, even in defeat, could not stop leading. But Elba's history reaches further back. The Etruscans came first, followed by the Romans, drawn by the island's rich iron deposits and sheltered harbors. Today, traces of those ancient lives lie beneath the surface in ruins, relics, and the very soil itself. The landscape is gentle, yet varied. Soft hills rise from the sea, blanketed in chestnut trees and vineyards. Villages cling to the hillsides, their walls sun-warmed and quiet. Trieste, a city on the edge of Italy, of empires, of memory, facing the Adriatic Sea and backed by hills, Trieste feels both European and elusive. It is a crossroads, a quiet harbor where cultures have met, mixed, and shaped one another for centuries. This is not a city that shouts. It whispers through its faded facades, its wide boulevards, and its deep, thoughtful silences. Once the main port of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, Trieste still carries a sense of grandeur. Neoclassical buildings line the waterfront. Cafes serve strong coffee beneath old chandeliers. The air feels both Central European and Mediterranean. At the heart of the city lies Piazza Unità d'Italia, one of the largest seafront squares in Europe. Open to the water, framed by elegant palaces, it is a space that breathes. A place to pause, to watch the sea, to feel the weight of history in the light of day. The Trieste has always been a city of writers and thinkers. James Joyce lived and worked here. Italo Svevo walked these streets. Lecce, a city carved in stone, glowing under the southern sun, often called the Florence of the South. Lecce lies in the heart of the Salento Peninsula, where ancient history, Baroque beauty, and Mediterranean spirit come together in golden harmony. What sets Lecce apart is not just its past, but the way it was shaped, by light, by time, and by hand. The buildings here are made of pietra lexis, a soft, honey-colored limestone that catches the sun and glows with warmth. In the hands of master craftsmen, this stone became lace, twisted, layered, and alive with angels, vines, and dreams frozen in facade. The city's Baroque style is not heavy, it dances. Churches bloom with detail, balconies lean into the streets like open arms. The Basilica of Santa Croce is a masterpiece of this vision, rich in symbols, stories, and stone that seems to move. Lecce's rhythm is gentle but full of life. Locals gather in quiet piazzas where the past whispers beneath the surface. Roman ruins sit beside bakeries. Ancient columns rise beside cafes serving thick espresso and pastichet, sweet pastries filled with custard and memory.